son. Alright, before we play this little intro clip here, alright, go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Corporal Lewis. A lot of you are probably like, why is there a corporal up here trying to teach me about this stuff? The Army National Guard Warrior Training Center and 4th RTB has deemed that I am knowledgeable and responsible enough to instruct on a level where I can actually instruct over a 4th Ranger Training Battalion. Alright, before I got out of the Army the first time, alright, I was assigned the first of the 75th Ranger Regiment, alright, down in Savannah. Okay, I spent 5 years down there. I've been in the Army forever. I got out, I went to college, decided that I loved the Army more than I liked my civilian job, and so I went back to the Army, and First Sergeant Snow was grateful enough to hire me on. Alright, I love my job, alright, I love teaching you guys this stuff, but I love it a lot more when you guys like what I'm teaching you, alright? So, give me your all, give me 100%, stay awake the entire time. If you're feeling tired, drink water. If your buddy next to you is falling asleep, nudge him, hit him, whatever the fuck you gotta do, right? Stand up, be a man, have a little bit of individual soldier discipline, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and put my glasses on right now. Alright, I don't normally wear these. I look like a huge fucking nerd with these glasses on. Alright, I normally wear contacts. But I have eye surgery next month, so I can't wear contacts anymore. So don't laugh when I put these on, alright? Thanks. Alright, go ahead first, son. Everybody know what movie this is? Oh, it's not even sounding answer. Guess we lost the sound a little bit there.
Yeah.
That's all right. We can get the picture from what's going on.
Yeah, it's heat.
All right. So what battle drill is going on right now?
React to contact.
That's it, right? And that's what we're going to talk about first today. All right. I'm going to go from react to contact. I'm going to roll right into squad attack. All right, which is kind of what they start getting into a little bit here with a little bit of a base of fire element in that. And then I'm going to talk about break contact, which is what they ultimately do at the end of this scene for those of you guys who have seen the movie. You can go ahead and go to the slide for something. Alright guys, before we begin, alright, let me orient you to my board. On the left-hand side here we have some administrative notes. Those are going to help me as well as you follow along in this class. Okay? There's a lot of information I'm going to be putting out. Anytime you have questions, just go ahead and write them down and save them till the end. Okay? On the right-hand side of the board here, I have a squad column fire team wedge, alright, with the notional placement of the lead fire team in contact. Okay, reacting to the enemy on the top-hand side of the board here. Okay, you can go ahead and reference this in your Ranger handbooks on page 8-1. Right, again, notice that my board is color-coded, but not yet personalized. All right, just like the food board that you guys saw here. All right, what is a battle drill? What is the doctrinal definition of a battle drill?
Collective action, rapid action, without applying deliberate decision-making process.
Exactly. All right. So how do you get to that point?
Practice.
Right? Practice?
Repetition.
Just practice make perfect? Perfect practice makes perfect. There you go. That's what I was looking for. All right. Again, okay. Collective action rapidly executed without applying a deliberate decision-making process. All right. So you're moving along in your formation order movement, whether in squad column, fire team wedge, or modified wedge. Then you have that initial contact with the enemy. What is the first thing that everybody needs to do? All right, so simultaneously return fire and seek cover and concealment. Right? What is cover?
Cover something can stop bullets.
All right, something that can stop bullets. Right? Concealment is something that hides you from the enemy. Okay. All right, so every ranger or every soldier, all right, has to get down, return fire, and seek that cover. Okay, cover is not laying down in the prone. Cover is actually getting down behind a rock, a large tree, a depression in the ground, something like that. All right. As they're returning fire and seeking that cover, what does the soldier who sees that contact need to yell out?
3Ds.
3Ds. All right, what are those?
Direction.
Okay. All right, so 3 enemy, small arms, 300 meters, 12 o'clock, right? Okay. The team leader, all right, and that team that's in contact, maintains contact visually and orally with his men, all right, and tries to get eyes on those enemies. As he gets eyes on the enemy, all right, he gets his team online as best he can in that shallow wedge, has them low crawl up, get online, and return fire in preparation to either maneuver or provide that base of fire element. All right. Does everybody here know what like a support by fire position is? All right, where you have like the one element that's non-mobile, that's returning fire constantly, providing that suppressive fire for the maneuver element, right? All right. As he's issuing commands to his soldiers, he needs to utilize fire commands. Okay? The way you can utilize fire commands is by the standard procedures of alert, direction, description, range, rate of fire, and the command to engage. Okay? Again, what that could look like, saw gunner, 12 o'clock, 3 enemy, 50 meters, rapid fire. Alright? Or he could simply say engage, okay, if it's an import. Alright? Every man in that lane as they're returning fire, alright, needs to conduct search, fire, and check in their lane. That means they're searching for the enemy, alright? They're firing at that enemy, and then they're checking on the status of that enemy. While all this is happening, okay, that squad leader, who's incredibly busy during the patrolling process, right? He has to move up to that position to assess the situation. Okay? Now, does he have to move up to that team leader whose team is in contact in order to assess that situation, in order to get good eyes on? No. If he trusts the men in his squad, he should be able to move up to anybody in that lead team that's in contact and get a good idea of where that enemy is. Okay? Moves up to a soldier, finds out where the enemy is, alright, gets good eyes on, and then he begins assessing the situation. Alright? He assesses the situation by asking himself these questions. Okay? Can the squad move out of that engagement area? Alright? Do they have enough room to break contact? Okay? Can the squad gain and maintain suppressive fire? Are they utilizing those fire commands? Can they achieve fire superiority? Do they have the ability to have that violence of action to keep those enemies' heads down so that they can actually get a maneuver element out there to flank them? Alright? What is the actual location of the enemy? Okay? He needs to know that location of the enemy in order to begin his assessment of which side he might possibly flank to. What is the size of the enemy force? Is the enemy element too large for a squad to handle? Alright? What's our ratio?
3 to 1.
3 to 1, right? So if you have a 12 enemies per squad, what can you take on? Alright. So if it's an element larger than 4 enemy, okay, you might want to consider other methods. Breaking contact, okay, utilizing indirect fires. But we'll get into that in a minute. Alright, what types of weapons does the enemy have? Does the enemy have crucial weapons? Right? If it's a built-in bunker, okay, if it's a fighting position, and they have crucial weapons, 1 or more, right? You probably don't want to try and go against that with a squad. Are you most likely going to? Yes. Alright? But you're going to have other assets that can help you take that on, okay? Alright. Are there any vulnerable flanks of the enemy's position? Okay? If you are walking across an open field, which you should never do, alright, and you come into contact with the enemy, are there any routes that you can get to that enemy without them seeing you? Can you actually flank that enemy in an open field? You can. It'll be a very difficult, very slow movement. You'd probably lose a lot of your squad doing that, alright? That's why you always want to take into consideration that route planning. Avoid those open danger areas. Alright? Are there covered and concealed routes to the enemy's flanks? Okay, that goes back into the same thing. Alright? Are you going to flank on the side that's open and easy to move through? Or are you going to flank on the side that nobody really wants to move through, but it's the best way to go because the enemy's not going to see you get there, right? All right, so once he's asked all of these questions, he needs to ask himself whether or not he can use indirect fires. All right, indirect fires being what? What have you guys seen out there?
Mortars.
All right, mortars. What else? CAS, right? Close air support. Artillery, okay. So then he asks himself priority and availability, right? Priority being, is he the decisive element of that operation? Okay. Does he have priority of those fires? Does he have the rounds available? What type of rounds does he have available? All right, so type and amount of support. Okay, 60, 81, 105, all right, CAS, anything like that. All right, location of the enemy in relation to the squad. All right, so how much room does he have to utilize that? All right, can he effectively engage the enemy with those indirect fire rounds to cover his squad, all right, without putting himself in danger, himself and his squad? All right, location of the enemy in relation to the squad's location on the map, all right, so that they can determine, all right, whether they can actually get any kind of indirect fire support to that location. All right, and then whether it's danger close, all right, so will indirect fires hinder or support the mission? All right, so what are some situations where indirect fires could hinder the mission? And not just danger close. All right, high value targets. Maybe you want to do some site sensitive exploitation on that area afterwards. Can you really effectively do that if you've blown everything to shit? Probably not, right? Maybe it's someone that you want to capture rather than kill. Okay. Maybe, all right. Maybe you're on a reconnaissance mission. Okay, and you want to leave as small a signature as possible. Right? Maybe you just don't have those fires available. Maybe you're saving them for actions on the objective. You guys will see when you go into mission planning that sometimes you don't have a ton of fires available. You might have 3 approved targets, all right, with a total of 8 rounds over those 3 targets. If you think that you're going to encounter a large enemy force on the objective, you might want to consider saving those rounds for the actual actions on the objective. All right, so once the squad leader has assessed the situation using those factors, all right, MET-TC, all right, what he actually sees out there, and then his past experiences. All right, a lot of individuals can rely heavily on their past experiences, knowing that particular enemy's TTPs, all right, seeing what has worked in the past, whether or not that will work again. All right, so once he's assessed the situation, he then determines whether he's going to break contact or conduct squad attack. And that will lead us into our next class, which is actually squad attack. All right, again, okay, everybody stand up, shake it out real quick, all right? I see a lot of sleepy eyes back there.